HDMI port, so that way we can do this properly at least. So there's a lot of exciting news that I'm really excited to share about, and some could be quite terrifying, especially when it comes to NVIDIA. If you don't know who I am, I'm Chris Mizo. We usually talk about PC and tech. Make sure you follow this Discord channel if you need any help with PC builds, because everyone is there to help you. I'm going to put it in the chat for everybody here, so make sure to check it out. Oop, I put the wrong word. I put chat. Make sure to follow that, and you could join in. Oh, now it looks like that command went a little bit crazy there. Went multiple times. Sorry about that whole spammed in area. So is the mic good? Let's see. Perfect. Well, I have news about the whole NVIDIA issue. As you know, there is a brand new driver out for NVIDIA. So if you have a card, NVIDIA 50 series card, NVIDIA 40, 30 series, they have a brand new game driver out. It's not no more hot fixes. There was at least 2 hot fixes within the week, which was 57626. I think the new one was 57636. And then the new one that they came out with was the 57628 is their brand new driver. Apparently there is some issues still with it. It looks like there is some spontaneous glitching when it comes to Monster Hunter's Wilds. So if you love to play Monster Hunter's Wilds, unfortunately, that is still not fixed with the newest driver. And there is some, I'm sure there's still some of that weird issuing going on with the monitor flickering. So if you are familiar with that and you have a NVIDIA card and you notice your monitor is flickering, you're not the only one. It seems that it is happening across many NVIDIA users where the screen is flickering. The only real fix to that is actually rolling back your driver back to the driver. I haven't noted down here as 57283 seems to be really the best driver, especially for those on the 50 series. Now, anybody on the 20, 30, and 40 series, let me know how it's working for you. I have not installed it on the 4090 to see how it is. And I'm just curious if you're also running into screen flickering, or if you're running into any type of weird issues such as NVIDIA crashes is really common. Matter of fact, I had to reboot the PC a few times with the 5090. And the funny thing is, it seems like I actually ran into more issues with the 5090 than the actual RX 9070 XT, which is pretty insane, especially for that large price gap of a card that there is. And more on the whole NVIDIA front, there is great news for everybody out there who does want to get more VRAM out of a 5080. Unfortunately, it won't be the 5080 that's out there currently now, but there is rumors out there of a 5080 24GB going to be released within the next year. At first, we heard about it from ASRock. They accidentally leaked it, and there seems to be enough evident proof that more than likely it is coming out. And there's also a possible variant of the 5070 Ti where they can have up to 18 gigabytes. Hey, what's up, Blood Raven? Welcome in. It really is. It's crazy how the RX 580 is more stable than a 5090. And it just keeps going on, these issues. If you guys didn't know, there was also another meltdown problem that actually occurred, and this happened with a 5080, believe it or not. Now, what happened with this 5080? This originally, what I thought was it was a MSI power supply, but it was actually not an MSI power supply. It was a RTX 5080 MSI Supreme GeForce RTX card, but the power supply was not from MSI. In fact, it was from Silverstone, I think it was, and he used the adapter, the 3-in-1 adapter for the 12-volt high power port. And therefore, even though he used that adapter, because it did come from MSI, they usually give you that yellow indicator to let you know if you are fully seated inside of the graphics card. It seemed that he thought he was fully seated, but apparently it still melted away. Yet we haven't really heard any issues by the Sapphire Nitro Plus with the 12-volt high power ports. I have zero issues with it so far. Even after constant benching and testing and overclocking, I haven't had any issues. I haven't really pushed the 5090 quite yet. And honestly, again, like I tell everybody out there, I'm more scared. And I have to say, for certain, the 12-volt high power port should never have contained this much power. It needs to have split power. Instead, have two 12-volt high power ports if you will still continue to do this, NVIDIA. Don't be... It's just insane that even Gigabyte's electrical engineers out there said that 325 watts should be the maximum power that is going through the 12-volt high power port and no more than that. And this is pushing 575 watts and more. So another type of what else is interesting is that Intel is also coming out with their own graphics card. They actually have a decent amount of plans coming out. Of course, if you don't know already, Intel is planning to come out with a new generation of chipsets already. So they're already tossing a whole Z890 to the side, and they're thinking of moving on with a whole different type of chipset. It might not even be called the Z990. They are going to be focused more onto the 18A, which is supposed to be coming out within late this year into early next year, which is going to be interesting. And on top of it, they are working on a Intel GPU called Sparkle, which is part of the Battlemade series. And allegedly, it has up to 24 gigabytes of a G6 VRAM in there, so it can be a lot more competitive, even up against AMD. So I'm really curious to see what type of power will come out of it, and I'm also curious to see what NVIDIA does. For those who are interested in purchasing NVIDIA, just to let you guys know that there is going to be more stock supply, and if you haven't seen the full resupplies just yet, make sure to follow like a stock tracker or something, or even go down to the description box. More than likely you'll be able to nab one pretty easily, a lot more easier, but I can't really say pretty easily, but a lot more easier to be able to get your hands on a RTX 50 series card if you're looking for. The RTX 5070s, the 5070 Ti's are becoming more common. Even the 5080s, 5090s are still a little bit tough to come by, but if you're lucky enough to catch it, you certainly can. And there's great news for everybody in the Europe side that it seems like, specifically this happened in France, there has been quite the drop off in pricing, especially when it comes to the RTX 5070 and the RTX 5070 Ti, where it dropped down as low as 12%. What else is also excites me for sure, and I don't know if everybody saw this quite yet. If you're a fan of Doom Dark Ages, a game that is supposed to be released very soon, ASUS actually came out with this really nice GPU. It's a RTX 5080 with some Doom cover art on it. It looks like a wonderful card, and it's really beautifully done. I just hope that this whole 50 series mess will get cleaned up. And I gotta say, I'm personally excited when I do this whole RTX 5090 review to let you know what I really think of it, because it might come to a shock to everybody, or it might not come to a shock, because I have to say the truth about the card, and I can't wait to share that side of it with you. Also, let me see. There is also, AMD is coming out with a CPU that's coming out as well. They are actually, for those who are interested in the whole 8000G, just like AMD's AM5s with the integrated graphics, they are going to come out with a 9000 series known as Shimida Peak. They will also release it later this year, and even the new Threadrippers, which are amazing but very expensive. Definitely don't need anything like that for gaming. So Alex is saying that he's studying IT and electrical engineering. My idea is that the 5080 is drawing more power too fast than the PSU can output, causing electrical lag that overheats the high-powered cable that is king. That's a very high possibility. Yes, and plastic cables do certainly melt. And another thing I gotta mention. So what do you think of this, Alex? Do you think it's possible that there is not enough, if the gauge... Is the gauge thick enough, you think? if you've seen the 12 volt high power port gauges, do you think they're thick enough, or is there too high of resistance going through there where it's causing a short? Let me know what you think of that, Alex, because I'm thinking that could be a possibility too. Maybe it's just they're pushing too much power through it to the point where it's causing it to practically melt out. It's getting way too hot, which would definitely cause the cable to melt too, I think. But yeah, let me know what you think of that. Also, for anybody that's just joining in, I'm going to put up the giveaway that is going on right now. There's only 3 days left. So if you haven't joined this giveaway already, make sure you do. It's going to be for a Samsung 990 Pro with a heatsink. Looks something like this. And it's quite... Oh, I just noticed manual focus is on. Hang on, guys. Let me fix this real quick. There we go. I just realized my camera was on manual focus. But the Samsung 990 Pro, I will be giving this away to one lucky winner in the giveaway, and I will put the details in the chat so you could be more than welcome to join it. And also, it does come with the heatsink, as I mentioned, and you can put it inside of a PS5, or you can choose to put it inside of a PC. It's up to you. And I will also be giving one piece of merch out to somebody out there, to one of those lucky winners. Make sure you stay tuned in this channel for more giveaways, because I'm excited, because there is going to be so much more that is coming in. So I did release a video for those who are wondering if it's possible to update a monitor without a PC, and it certainly is. So let me share this real quick with you guys, and I will answer that question momentarily. You might see a couple messages. This one shouldn't be as bad. It goes wild for some reason. I gotta fix that prompt. But anyway, so JKS Singh, he said, would you buy a 5060 Ti, 16 gigabytes, or a 5070 if they both are being sold for the same price? Now, that's a bit of a tricky question, because now they both use G7 and the core clock. Let me take a look real quick, because I really got to take a look at that and really compare the two. And I can tell you, but more than likely, it's probably going to be... It's good to get the 5060 Ti because of the VRAM. You'll definitely have plenty of VRAM in that. And I'm going to check something here. I know they use two different Blackwell chips here. The 5060 Ti uses the GB206. So that has up to 4,608 cores and 8 gigabytes of memory, right? So if you compare it to the 5070, it has up to 12 gigabytes. That actually has more VRAM, and you do get more cores out of it. If it's the same price, it's GB205. That's their Blackwell processor in there. So realistically, I gotta say it's better to go with the 5070. It's not going to be a large improvement over the 5060 Ti, but it is going to be a very slight difference between the two. You'll probably see at least more than likely a 10% difference, I can say, if you are comparing the two. So I would definitely go for the 5070 if you were able to get it for the same price as the 5060 Ti. So I can say that for certain. Have you noticed any stock supply around your area? Just curious, because now that it's becoming more available, I noticed that more Micro Centers, more even Newegg, Best Buy might even be able to get some if you're really lucky. Now, for those who are in other countries as well, let me know how it's going for you if you are trying to get NVIDIA card, or are you thinking about switching over to AMD? AMD has been really excellent, had zero issues with it so far. There's very slight, the only issues are very minimal to the point where it does not affect gameplay. Most importantly, the issues are more or so when it comes to, say, the memory, where it claims it has so much memory. For example, a RX 9070 XT has about 16 gigabytes of VRAM, but it's saying it's using up 32 gigabytes of VRAM, but it really doesn't have it. So those are the type of issues that I've seen so far with the RX 9070 XT, where it's saying it's using it, but it doesn't exist. But no real issues besides that. Overclocking has really been great on it. Undervolting has been excellent. And I gotta say, it's a very impressive card. The rasterization is also excellent when it comes to it. You don't even really have to use the frame generation if you don't want to. It does feature it if you do want to use it, which is going to be the FSR4. But AMD has an excellent card. NVIDIA's 50 series has been interesting, I can say, at the least. From experiencing it so far, I gotta say it's been rough, and I can say that the price for this one's specifically going to be on the Gigabyte RTX 5090. The crazy thing is it's up to $3,000 to purchase this card. This is the AORUS Master, but I still really don't see the value in it. It's really hard for me to see spending $3,000 on a GPU where you can't really even enjoy gaming on it as much as you think you would. Now, I can't wait to go way more in depth about it, because when I do, you might find the whole review interesting, and I gotta say, it's going to be a review score that I've actually haven't given before. So I can say that for certain. And it's still in the whole testing phase, because I messed with some of the undervolting so far, but I have gone as far as overclocking the RTX 5090 just yet. Now, for those who are just coming in, I'm Chris Mizo. I'm talking about PCs and tech. More than likely, you came to this video because you want to know what's going on with NVIDIA, what's going on with AMD, what's going on with Intel, because there is still a lot of tension between all the companies going on, especially when it comes to the whole GPU side. The good news, I can say for certain, they are ramping up the competition. AMD knows that they sold their cards very well. They sold way more than they thought. They had sold 10 times the volume of cards that they thought they were going to sell. Now, what's really interesting on the AMD front is that they released this laptop where it says that it has a RX 9080. That's right, a RX 9080. But the more interesting thing about it is it doesn't really have VRAM of a RX 9080 as you would think it would. Automatically, you would think it must have like at least 24 gigabytes. But unfortunately, I think it only had about 16 at the max for this RX 9080. And again, it's mobile. More than likely, they will have different variations for it. And it could just be specifically just for the mobile counterpart, as there is no RX 9080 that just yet exists. Just yet, at least. Until maybe Computex, when that happens, which is going to be in a few weeks. They announced that they will announce something for the gaming side of things, and for certain that the RX 9060 will be on its way, as that they are working on a RX 9070 GRE, but that is more than likely not coming till the end of the year. Hopefully, what I'm really hoping for, and I'm sure everybody else is hoping for, is that they will announce a RX 9080 XTX, actually. That would be awesome, especially if they choose to really push and compete more in at least to the middle high gaming side. At least that would be really nice if they did, because they could certainly do it. And I feel like if AMD really pushes their limits, I think they could really succeed at being a better competitor, at least when it comes to the whole GPU market. And same thing with Intel. If Intel really does well with Sparkle and they come out with this 24 gigabyte card, and it's going to be very competitive to the, say, 7900 XTX, maybe, I'm hoping at least. And it's going to be interesting for it to see competing against, like, the RTX 4080. I don't think it's going to reach like anything close to like 4090 numbers or anything like that, but who knows? Maybe Intel has something up their sleeve that they just don't want to quite release yet. Maybe they have improved their XESS, their super sampling that they have with Intel, and more than likely I would think they have their own version of a frame generation that they are working on themselves. Now, let me go down here. So, what's up, Joe? Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. What's up, JKS? I'm sorry for any responses I didn't quite see yet, But Alexander says, I think it's because of the strange bottleneck with the speed of copper wire electrical transfer speed. And what I mean by the lag, the stability of the power draw. I gotcha. No, that makes perfectly sense, because that 100% can make sense too. So JKS says, I'm in Canada, going out of stock really quick with back orders after 23rd of May for the majority. Oh, really? So which card are you... You're trying to get the 5070 Ti, is it, JKS? And not going to lie, the 50 series disappoints me, mostly the fact that they remove PhysX without a reason, really. And that's kind of annoying, too. I haven't tried to go into a game like Mirror's Edge or anything like that, but if I do, I will certainly let you know. I should actually try that during this whole testing phase with the RTX 5090 and let you know how it goes. But I do know that NVIDIA does allow more of their open source advanced physics you can be capable of messing with. I did go into a game that is a DirectX 9 game, such as Fallout New Vegas, just to see if it would work or not. And I was just curious, so I went into the game such as New Vegas, went in, and it seemed like it actually worked, surprisingly. I didn't actually start playing it, but I should, just to see if it starts glitching up, just like when I got into Monster Hunter's Wilds and it would just keep crashing. I even actually got a blue screen out of it, believe it or not. That's how bad these drivers are right now. And it's really pathetic. Again, you're spending $3,000 on a card, and it's doing this. But anyway, Joe says, no way you still remember me. So, not much. Finished my mechatronics apprenticeship. That's awesome. Yeah, I remember you, Joe, because you're like one of like the first people that really came on and supported this channel. So I try my best to remember everybody, and you're certainly very memorable, Joe. But it's definitely good to see you. I'm glad to see you on here. So Dylan Hansen says, elaborate a little. Are you saying that the card is trying to draw X wattage at the higher frequency? Don't understand how they request power, but hertz should be able to be fixed. I'm sure he's probably typing up a storm now, because that's our moderator there, Alexander. He's a great guy. So if you have any questions, he's also willing to help you out, and he's also part of the Discord channel. I'm going to send the Discord channel. I apologize if it looks like this big spam chat, but it's a prompt I certainly got to fix, because it seems like it's repeating itself multiple times. But this is the Discord channel. Feel free to join it. If you are on YouTube, on Twitch, you can certainly join that Discord channel. Just click it. It's free to join. And you can ask any PC tech questions. You could show your companion. And matter of fact, I'll show you how Jonah is doing today, because as I mentioned, he was having some arthritis issues. And let me turn on the Jonah cam here. See, so that way you can see how he's doing. If you don't know who Jonah is, he is the channel's mascot. So he's just chilling there on the floor. Let me turn this camera a little bit so you can see him a little bit better here. There you go. Yeah, he's just chilling there on the floor right now. So he seems to be doing a lot better. It's his birthday in a few days. Hopefully you could join his... He's saying what's up to everybody out there. Hopefully you guys get to join his birthday. It's actually going to be this Saturday. I will be doing a live stream, and I'll be based on his birthday, and we'll do some more stuff. We'll figure out some stuff to do, and we'll make sure he enjoys he's going to be 13 years old, believe it or not. So he's been around for a long time. Hopefully you enjoy our mascot on the channel, and hopefully you are enjoying the whole tech side of things. So for everybody who is just coming in and just wondering what we're talking about, we were talking about NVIDIA, we were talking about Intel, we were also talking about AMD, about all the different issues or what's exciting that is going on in the market. For those who haven't quite purchased a RTX card or RTX 50 series card and is looking to purchase one, they are certainly becoming way more available. You can certainly get your hands on it, because there's at least stock coming in nearly every day. I would say every other day now, but it was really consistent over the weekend, as you had companies such as Zotac, MSI, even PNY. I know that's not the most desirable RTX 50 series card that's out there, but they were coming in stock in places like Walmart, Newegg, and Amazon was also having them in stock. And I've been doing my best to put it out there for you guys so that way you're able to nab one. And if you were able to nab one, lucky you. I know it's really not really easy to get one. But also, I do want to say, if you do plan to spend that kind of money on a RTX 5090 card, I do have to mention that it is quite ridiculous how much this card is. It's a great thing, for example, that France is dropping the prices on these RTX 5070s and 5070 Ti's by 12%. So it's a pretty significant amount that is dropping. And it was already dropping from before. So you can certainly expect these cards to start like declining eventually very soon, because there's going to be a surplus in the market for sure, because the cost is just way too high for the RTX 5080. Well, the 5080s aren't too badly priced, but what really costs the most is more of the AIB sides of things and how they upcharged it from that, because the RTX 5080 is really based on $1,000 price, and the AIBs push it up as far as $1,700. So more realistically, it should drop down to like the $1,300 to at least $1,300 range. So that way it can be a little bit more affordable. RTX 5090, it's way out the ballpark. It's like, it goes up to $3,600. I've seen at the most. And that's like for like the Gigabyte Waterforce cards. Or if you look at the ASUS ROG Astral, which has the 4th fan on it, and that costs, I think, about $3,400 to $3,500. Even the Gigabyte AORUS Master, where it has the 4th fan on there, where I didn't really dig the look of it. So if you don't notice it behind me, I had to remove it, and I'm curious to see how the temperatures differ, because we're gonna definitely test that out and see if it really makes that much of a difference when a 4th fan is on there. And for those who are looking for the AMD side, they are also certainly coming more back in stock. They are doing their best to get the RX 9070 XTs in there. Now, Dylan Hansen says the mythical $2,000 MSRP 5090 LOL. I'm happy to pay that, but not a penny more. My 9800 X3D needs a friend. I'm so many PC gamers feel you out there. And I gotta say, shout out to PCMR. It's their birthday today. It's since then, I think it's something like they've been around for like 15 years. So happy birthday to PCMR out there. Alexander the Great 501 says, yo, Dylan Henson, CA. So I gotta say, so if you are trying to get these cards, they are in stock and they are coming in. You'll probably see some, what's today? Today's Wednesday here, at least for where I'm at. And if it's going into Thursday, more than likely you'll see stock then. Typically, there's a lot of stock that comes in between Tuesdays and Thursdays. So to keep your eyes peeled open if you are looking for a GPU. Now, you don't have to get the NVIDIA RTX cards. You could go full AMD. AMD also works great as well. And it's something I've always recommended is, especially for this year, because if I were to pick for 2025 for which card to go for, especially if you're trying to get a GPU, I would say go for AMDs, because AMD not only has it has better value. The drivers are actually working on it, which is nice. You can actually game. You don't have to worry about the next update to see if that ends up failing. Overclocking is really easy on it. You can undervolt it really nicely. And there's a lot of positives on it. The only negatives, I gotta say, for the RX 9070 XT from what I've noticed is the path tracing is just terrible on there. You don't want to go path tracing. And of course, more than likely, you're not going to be into that anyway if you do get an AMD card. Ray tracing has improved a lot, but of course, it is still not on NVIDIA's level, but it is very close. How close? About one generation behind close. But Dylan Hansen says, I'd almost considered a 9070, my dude. I'm telling you, 9070 is a great card. You would certainly appreciate it, especially for how well it works. Over this past weekend, we were doing a couple benches just to get a good idea of what type of numbers you can really pull out of it. And it's really easy to overclock. In fact, it's so easy that AMD Adrenalin actually has it built in into their app where you can do everything in there. You can either choose to auto tune it, or you can actually you can tune it yourself. Even your CPU if you have a full AMD build. So you can certainly take advantage of that. But oh, okay, so it's about the same price. So what price is it closest to you from what you're saying, closest to the 5070? And I gotta say, when I was, I've also tested the RTX 5070 and testing the RTX 5070 and comparing it to say like the RTX 4090. If you really compare them both, you can take a guess who the winner is on that, because when Jensen Huang said that the 5070, the 5070 can match up to the RTX 4090, then you can imagine how those results went. And I've tested with frame generation and without frame generation. And I got to say, they really exaggerated this whole frame generation part when it comes to their new 50 series cards, because even though I had that on, I had the RTX 5070's frame generation on compared to the RTX 4090's, and without frame generation, just raw power, it still beats out this 5070. So it's not really true for those who watch that and were curious about that question about if the 5070 could really catch up to the 4090. I know mostly everybody is smart enough out there to know that it's just not going to happen. There's no way a card that's 12 gigabytes in VRAM that's going to outdo a card that's 24 gigabytes in VRAM and has a much larger, what's the word for it? I'm looking for, I'll think of it. It has much more ray tracing cores in there as well. So that there's a lot more going on the 4090 than there is for the RTX 5070. And I gotta say, for the latest news for everyone who has a RTX card and you have a 50 series, I highly suggest for anyone with the 50 series, especially, it doesn't matter if it's the 5070, 5080, or 5090, to stick to the driver. I have it noted here. Make sure to stick to the driver. Let's see. Where's it at? I did have it noted. Oh yeah, it's going to be further down here. I think it's 57476, something like that. I would stick to that driver. It's going to be the one prior to April. It's going to be the driver update. I think it was in March. You want to go to that driver update if you have a 50 series, because anything after that, it's going to give you problems. Have you noticed any screen flickering? Have you noticed your game crashing? Have you noticed if you were playing something like Monster Hunter's Wilds, was that crashing? Was any Unreal Engine 5 games crashing while you were playing with the RTX 50 series? More than likely, it's because of the driver. If you experience blue screens, if you experience like a poor booting, like where it would stay stuck in some sort of Q code, more than likely it has to do with the driver that you have on your GeForce card. So if you go back to that driver and make sure to roll it back to the March update, which was the firmware 574, if you go to that one right there, then it's going to fix a lot of the problems that you're running into now. Even the one that they released today does not work properly for games such as, it'll actually tell you, let me see. I'll pull up the list and it'll tell you what type of games that it does not work on properly here. It is, let me see. You're going to laugh at this. It's crazy because these cards have been out for nearly 5 months. Well, not 5 months yet. Well, more like 4 months. But these cards have been out for 4 months and you're still running into these type of issues with it. It's pretty insane because by now they should be pretty ironed out and they should not be running into these issues. Okay, so So right now, allegedly, it's supposed GeForce RTX 50 series laptops resume from modern standby can result into a black screen. So that's one of the issues that the 50 series is running into in the laptop versions. Now for the GeForce RTX 50 series, now it tells you the certain monitors that are running into problems. The LG monitors, when they have blank screens when running on DisplayPort 2.1 with HDR, they're letting you know that issue. More than likely about the whole screen flickering issue. I've experienced it on the I experienced it on this monitor as well, which is the 34WCDM monitor by ASUS. It's the OLED monitor. There has been flickering, especially in the April updates. Now, let's see. Chris Mizo, can you test the 5090 on War Thunder on the highest setting? I certainly will. I'll put that into my notes there. Make sure to remind me on Discord just in case so I could throw it in there. I'll definitely test it out for you, Alex. Sad to seeing that Sapphire models are so marked up for AMD. The Pulse 9070 XT is almost 900. It is. That's insane. Because when we got this, again, this AMD build was not sponsored. The only thing that we got out of the sponsors was from ASUS, which was the B850 motherboard with it and the LC360 cooler, which was really nice. Thanks to ASUS for getting that to us. But everything else, like the Sapphire that we did end up purchasing, when it first released, it was only at $770, I think, or $760 even. But for it to go up as high as $900, I've seen some go up as high as $950, which is absolutely insane. And it should not be charging that much for it. Joe says, I'm a bit outdated GPU-wise, so NVIDIA got driver issues now. Wasn't that the argument back then with NVIDIA fanboys? You know what's funny, Joe? That was the biggest argument when it came with NVIDIA, and it still is to this day. They will still bring that up, saying that AMD's software is crap, their drivers do not work. But oddly enough, after all this testing and after seeing how this year has been going, I can say for certain I have way less problems with AMD's GPU than I do with NVIDIA's. NVIDIA's been having more problems, certainly. I can say that for sure. I ran into at least maybe 4 or 5 problems so far with the 5090. When I had the 4090, which when I tested that, I had little issues, but not as many problems as the 5090. So it's quite insane for them to charge so much money for this 5090, but have these type of bugs. And for anyone else who has a 5080 or 5070 Ti or anything like that, to replace your 3070 Ti, time goes by really fast. It's crazy to think that the 3070 Ti is now a older GPU. Next thing you know, once those supers come out, they have to drop these prices down. Especially in the summer, we'll probably see like the pricing cool off a lot. May should be a much better month because they've been promising that May should be like a great month when it comes to the whole GPU side at least. So 5090 laptops have 3 GB VRAM modules. Really? That's interesting. I updated to launch drivers for 50 series on my 3080, no issues. Never had driver issues with my 7900 XT. Count myself lucky. And it's a shame because AMD gets a pretty bad rep when it comes to their GPUs. But I gotta say, they've been really solid. Though again, the only issues I ran into were more glitch issues. And it has nothing to do with the game. It's more issues that have to do with something like hardware monitor or when it comes to your overlays when you're in game, or those type of issues. But I have ran into 0 issues gaming wise. It plays excellent. So yeah, do I have a 4K monitor? I'm supposed to get one soon. I'm waiting on one. I don't have one right now on me. So right now I mostly have widescreen displays. I've run on 1440 on all these displays now. But 4K will be coming very soon, and I am very curious about that. I will definitely push for that more, because I know more people are definitely getting interested in 4K for sure. Joe says, yeah, it's insane. I got mine in 2021 or 22. Yeah, and it's only 3 years ago. And it's true. It's like when you get these parts, especially like it feels like you just built it, it gets old. It feels like it gets old quick, especially now. And how aggressive these companies are being, especially how aggressive you've seen AMD, how aggressive Intel is. I can't believe Intel though. They kind of made their whole Z890 nearly irrelevant, unless you're planning to. That's like going to be the only chipset with that only socket that they have, which is the LGA 1851, which is insane. So they're only going to have one generation of it, and that's it. They're not going to push any more years on it. Instead, they're going to be focused on a whole new socket when it comes to Intel. So but I am super curious to see what Intel will provide when it comes to the 18A processors, because supposedly it's supposed to be super competitive, and it's supposed to be competitive. Originally, it was rumored to be up to be 2 nanometer nodes. That's how competitive it was going to be up to. But now they're saying 5 nanometer nodes. So we'll see when Intel actually releases it. More than likely, we'll get more information on Computex. I feel so bad that I won't be there this year, because I'm going to end up going to Taiwan much more later this year. I'll end up going in July. But I'll definitely keep you guys up to date about that as well. And Dylan says my 1650 laptop is on its last leg. But you know what, Dylan, though? I can say this, though. Laptops have certainly been lasting a lot longer than they used to. Before, laptops were not lasting very long at all. It was like laptops are rough. Like they were lasting maybe 2 years at the most. But now we're lucky that laptops are lasting much more longer for sure. And so nobody has yet tested the 5090 in War Thunder in 4K movie settings, which is the highest setting and also has VSync settings. Okay, I have to get in reach with my contacts here and try to I'll try to get this monitor in. So I'll go talk to him and see if I can get one in, and I'll definitely push for it if I can. And because I know so many people are interested in the whole 4K aspect, that and testing out Unreal Engine 5. For those who don't know, Unreal Engine 5 is very grueling and one of the toughest tests when it comes to your graphics card. So games such as like Wukong is very pushy. Games like Monster Hunter Wilds is very rough to the graphics cards. Games like Body Cam, which is Unreal Engine 5, is tough on the RTX 5090. Or any graphics card. So Dylan says, I fix laptops, so it's all too real. Lots of e-waste. Yeah, it really is. It's a shame we never got to the point. You would think by now we would get to the point where you can build a laptop. You would think we would get into that type of generation. I always thought that was going to be the future. Maybe just like being able to build a more portable model. But it's funny, we really haven't really changed too much on that department side. Besides being more toolless when you do put together a PC, it really hasn't changed much. It's more easier to build for certain, but we haven't really pushed like for laptop builds or anything like that. And I think a lot has to do with the portability aspect of it. So they're probably afraid. They have companies that can build you laptops, but unfortunately they don't have build kits or anything like that. But it would be awesome if they did, though. Joe says my next build will be AMD, to be honest, because like you said, the Intel sockets have a short supply span. I'm using the 13700K, but we'll keep it. Yeah, I mean, the 13700K is excellent. I really like that generation from Intel, especially when it came to Alder Lake and Raptor Lake. I feel like those were good generations. Once it got around here, once it got to the 15th gen, it got a little bit rough. Even Intel said themselves that they know that they did not do well when it came to their Intel processors. So that's why they kind of wanted to turn to the new page, because they're looking at it like it's all Pat Gelsinger's fault for this whole new generation and reason why it failed. But really, I wonder how this whole new generation is going to go, because it really doesn't look good to say like, okay, we tried selling this product and it wasn't so good, so we're gonna start fresh again. What about the people who did buy that product? Now they're SOL, were practically forced to upgrade or hold that motherboard for so long, because we actually have a motherboard here, but I haven't done a build. I've been questionable on it, and I got to have you guys vote on it too, because I'm really curious to see what everybody thinks of it too. Whether we do a build with a Z890, or maybe even a giveaway with the motherboard of a Z890. I'm just curious what your guys' thoughts are. If you like that idea, let me know. If you feel like a build is better, you want to see an Intel 15th gen build, like a 285K or like a 265K, let me know. Put one. If you vote more of a giveaway, and I'll figure out a way to do it, but it has to be based, I'll figure out a plan, and we'll figure out how to do something like that, which is 2. So we could either do an Intel build, which is 1, or we could do some sort of giveaway at 2. So let me know what you guys are thinking. This is something I'm going to put a vote in for like a whole month to really decide. And we can try to figure this out, because it seems like there's not as many people with Intel builds. There's a couple people that's come in here and has a Intel build. There's only 2 I know of that have Intel builds, that from what I've seen so far in the live stream. Mostly it seems like there's a lot more AMD users for sure when it comes to it. So Dylan Dylan says, Joe, no slouch though, no issues as aged. And for that, someone else actually has that same processor. I think Plano. If everybody recognizes Plano in the chat, he actually has that same card. Not card, he has that same processor. The Alexander says the 4090 gets 172 FPS on absolutely max settings with VSync on. That's really interesting in 4K. And I hope Intel steps their game up, because I'm scared if AMD sells of the gaming CPUs, since they choose their own price, being a monopoly. You know what's insane too? For everybody out there, yeah, 265K makes more sense, right? For like a gaming build. A 285K is pretty crazy. That's like if you want to go streaming and gaming, or if you want to do a build like that. But to answer Joe, I gotta say, for the whole, I do agree that you don't want a monopoly, because look what happened with NVIDIA. $3,000 for a GPU, for like a top-end GPU, which is their RTX 5090. Now, when you compare it to, say, something like the like AMD right now, I can say this: their 9950X currently, not the X3D, but the 9950X. Their what else was it? The 9600, the 9700X. They actually reduced the prices on those, so make sure you check those out. They're actually really good deals out there for it. So if you're interested in that, make sure you check that out. If you are trying to get a processor for your build, they're off significantly priced. I think they're like about like 15 to 20% reduction in price. So you can certainly get a processor, a 9000 series processor. The X3Ds, I don't think they put them on sale quite yet, but for the regular 9000, 9600X or 9700X, they are on sale. And Joe says it's a bit power hungry. Yeah, that's only a issue with it. How is the thermals with you? I gotta say, Joe, when it comes to the whole processor side, because they were saying that it was getting to the point. Have you experienced it, like, and then you had to update it, or was it more of a or were you able to like undervolt your CPU instead? Let us know, because I'm curious about it. I feel like Intel's become Nokia of CPUs. You know what's an interesting competitor when it comes to the CPU market is Snapdragon, but that's more on the laptop side. Dylan says, I see the different engines in cars having different operating temps. As long as if you don't see thermal throttling, that is all good. Yeah, that's the most important thing. Thermal throttling, it doesn't overheat. Yes, they were going back into 2018, but now it's been left in the past. And you know what's wild? It's crazy to see it just kind of flip around the way it did, because originally AMD was like the value CPU. It was like for the best one for those who enjoy gaming, but couldn't really spend money on Intel because Intel was always more. Now it seems like it's completely flipped around to where AMD's more, and now Intel's become more at the budget CPU, which is insane. And you know which, I don't know if you guys know it or not, but the best selling CPU by Intel right now is their 12400K. No, the 12600 actually. The 12600K is their best selling CPU right now. Same thing with I think the 13600 too. Anything else after that, like when it comes to the 14th gen and 15th gen, they're not selling as well, believe it or not. So it's hard to believe that Intel's only staying relevant because of their prior releases, not because of their current CPUs. So they really have to change a lot. And it makes sense why they wanted to change the direction of the company because of that. Let me see. Also, when it comes to anybody out there, let me share the Discord for anybody that is just joining in. The Discord channel is right here for those who want to join. Apologize for the multiple messages if you're seeing multiple messages here. And right here, Joe says, I'll highlight it so it doesn't get lost in the whole messages. It's actually pretty decent. I'm running my Intel in the NR200P Max case with the AIO, no thermal issues, but I also got a pressure plate that fixes the supposed bend. Oh, that's a good thing then. So if you have a pressure plate, that'll certainly, that will help it out. Alexander the Great, 501, absolutely Intel Max or a special kind of terrible right before the M1 chip. The fall off was great. You know what's wild though? Even though that was like a terrible generation, there is a decent amount of people who still have a Intel MacBook. And it's, I would say like the majority, I would say it's probably still like a good 40% of Mac users out there still has that Intel chipset. But I gotta say, like you know what's, I gotta ask you, Dylan, is working on the whole MacBooks. That's gotta be interesting because especially when it comes to their ARM processors, such as the M1s to the M4s, that's gotta be a real pain to deal with. Especially for those who think you can slap RAM on there when it's not really as easy as it seems because of how much of a process it would be to add RAM to a M4 into the M4 processor practically. But I gotta say that is this has been a really interesting generation for that. Same thing with the even the Mac Studios are that way too. Let's see. So NVIDIA has dropped their prices 12% in France so far. You can expect more price reductions. That's going to happen more nationally, I see. Europe, I feel like, is overall, we'll see reductions. I know Germany, they had dropped their price from 589 euros. Has dropped to 589 euros. Originally, it was 650 euros, which is pretty insane. I think Intel is becoming too much for Dell, for cheap work desktops. DDR3 is slow. The M1 and newer Breeze proprietary M2 slot in the Intel Mac is a huge definitely. I do enjoy for sure that the fact that it's very flexible when it comes to the whole the M series MacBooks. When it comes to their Thunderbolt 5, you really got to take advantage of that, especially in the M4s. It's just been really good, actually. The battery life has been excellent on the MacBooks, I got to say. Not really much of a large change between all generations of at the M1 to the M4 processors or into the SoCs. The only biggest difference, I would say, is really just a little bit more quicker in speed in the neural engine and the cores and everything. But it's not really like if you have an M1, you would be really happy with it as it is. So even if you jump to say up to M4, sure, it's going to be a little bit quicker, but it's not going to be a large generational difference as much as you think it would. But I do think for sure when it comes to the MacBook side, I do expect MacBook will release a OLED version within this year. And it's probably going to be like tandem OLED, similar to what they have on their iPad Pros. And I think they would go toward that direction, if anything. So I got to say, AMD is preparing their 9000G processors, which is going to be interesting for those who are looking more for something that is a APU. So if you're trying to build on a budget, it's a good processor to start with. You can actually game on them, which are really nice. And it's a much cheaper processor to purchase. They have the 8000G processors. In fact, at CES, they were using one. I think it was the 8600G. And they actually had Starfield on there. So you certainly can play it. And I mean, when you look at, say, like the ASUS ROG Ally, where it has like a Z1 Extreme, you could certainly expect to play a processor, an APU like that with pretty much through any games. The only games I could see it really struggle with is like once you start going to Unreal Engine 5 games, because again, they're very stressful games on current PC systems, especially you don't have game developers not optimizing the games enough as they used to. So Alexander Great says, I used the 2021 MacBook Pro M1 and it's not bad. In War Thunder, it gets 180 FPS on high settings. Not bad for a laptop made for absolute. Yeah, honestly, it really isn't meant for gaming. And it's funny, like, it doesn't matter what kind of laptop you have. You know how they always brag about the battery life when it comes to MacBooks. But even if you put gaming on there, you can certainly expect a high drain of usage. You could probably use up the battery within 2 to 3 hours. Still, even. But they are coming out with that, and they are also coming out with Shimada Peak, which I really am excited about. The PC that I'm actually streaming from is actually a Threadripper PC, but it is a much older Threadripper. It's a 3970X. Now we're in the 9000X, and now the Threadripper processors are way more expensive compared to what they used to be. Like back then when I ended up getting this processor for this build, I think it was only $1,900 to $2,000 for that processor. And again, this is more of my workstation here. And this is the main one I use for everything work related. But anyway, when you really compare it to like now, to the pricing now, when you look at the 9000 series, it's really expensive. You're going to spend like at least $8,000 probably on a processor. But it's supposed to be released during Computex, and it's going to be on ASUS's new not ASUS, but it's going to be on AMD's new TRX 50 boards. You can expect their motherboards are going to be quite expensive as well. Even back then, like this motherboard was expensive for its time, and it was like this is actually the ASUS eGaming motherboard that I have in here, and that was like $400. And that was high end for at the time. And so I can imagine how expensive doing a Threadripper build would really be. So Dylan Hansen says the M1 16GB is more than enough for 95. I agree. I see them age well. The repair is simple too. Parts are available in a way for the public now. So, oh yeah, complete opposite a gaming laptop. But it's going to be really interesting to see what they do, and I'm really curious what AMD will also display. I am really hoping that they kind of at least tease a RX 9080. That would be really nice, especially for those who are in the market for trying to get a new GPU for their PC. Or if you're thinking of converting it, this would be very compelling and very it would be very compelling, and it would 100% tempt a lot of people to switch over. I would hope so, at least from NVIDIA. Like, why would you spend $4,000 to $5,000 on a laptop and not expect users to want to play games on it? It's funny too because it's so limited. I think one of the biggest things that they added to the MacBook Pros. And you know what it is too? Part of it is that they want everything exclusive to Apple and to the Mac OS. So when it comes to that, they just want to have their own source. They want you to get their license for it and everything. So it's like Apple tries to take advantage of their what's the right word for it? Their base, because they know they have such a large customer base that people will pay money. They know gaming companies will pay the money to be able to have the game available for, say, a MacBook. So, not gonna lie, I thought about getting a second-hand one for next year for when I go study. Battery life seems to be great on them, and I'm talking about the M1 laptops. They are really good when it comes to battery life. Excellent, I gotta say. I gotta say, when it comes to the battery life, it can really last you like a couple days. Personally, to me, like when I've tried, I've only really got to mess with the M3 and the M4 mostly. The M3, believe it or not, it seemed like it got better battery life than the M4 for me personally. It seemed like it lasted a lot longer. The M4 seems like it dies off a little bit more quicker, in my opinion, and from what I've noticed. So yeah, if you definitely can get one secondhand, like an M3 Max, or not really a Max, but a M3 Pro, just say, even if you get a MacBook like that, it will certainly fulfill that need of having a laptop, and it will certainly hold the charge that you are looking for. Even the M1s are excellent. You can probably get them really cheap. So when it comes to the Windows side, one thing I have not tried, well, not really one thing, but multiple things, is I haven't got to try the whole new Snapdragon processors. I know that they were supposed to be the next thing to really compete with M1, which is the closest ARM processor for it to compete. But I've heard mixed things about it, like it's not getting as much battery life on it. But I heard that the whole second generation of the Snapdragon Elite processors are supposed to be better. So I'm curious about that as well. It would be nice to have something that can actually compete next to Apple's M1 processors. Definitely, yeah, it's definitely not necessary to purchase a brand new MacBook. Again, it's phenomenal how much the price difference is between a brand new MacBook to getting one used. And if you choose to get it through Apple, of course, at least it'll be certified pre-owned practically, and then you can choose to get their Apple Care if you'd like on it, which is a good option. But of course, you can get it much cheaper if you get it off of something like off of a website like Facebook Marketplace even, and see how that works. I thought about Snapdragon laptops, but for some reason the yeah, that's what is also another problem with them. That's what I've heard. Alexander the Great says, I'm a freak of nature, for real. I use a Samsung phone, a MacBook Pro laptop, Samsung smartwatch, and AirPod Pros. That's funny. That's quite the mix there. It's funny to be like more of a universal user, because there's been plenty of times where I thought about just like honestly switching out and going back to a Samsung phone myself, because they have excellent phones, I gotta say, and Apple's intelligence right now, the whole AI, their AI is just garbage. It's the worst AI I've ever seen in anything. Dylan Hansen says, Joe, invest in a 90-watt charging brick if you do. Yes, agreed. Mine gets updated every 2 years. Battery life is fantastic. Apple Care is not what it used to be, so make sure you read the terms. You know what's funny? I'll let you guys know into a little secret if you guys do have Apple Care, and I found this to be very interesting, which is, say you have a broken device, and say the MacBook Pro is broken, or you have a broken Apple Watch or whatever. They say that if you do take it to the store and it is legit broken, you tell them that, it fell under water and now it's not working at all, because they say if you give it to them and you say that it has water damage, they'll actually get you a new product immediately, or but it might be refurbished, but they'll make sure that you get a new one, so you don't have to worry about getting your device repaired. But just like what Dylan says, definitely watch the terms when it comes to Apple Care, and just like when it comes to like the battery usage, just say like if you expect to get it just for the battery itself, if it's check the life of the battery first to see where the health is, just to get a good general idea to see if it's almost on its way out, because anything under 80% isn't going to be good, and it should be changed out even before you get the laptop. Dylan Hansen, thanks for the tips. Appreciate it. Definitely going to read terms of Apple Care. I hope Germany EU laws come in clutch. They're more siding with the customer. I agree. I am very happy about the whole EU when they finally said that they told Apple that they have to be more open. I know for EU it doesn't matter as much because you guys use more like WhatsApp. And I think US is like one of the only countries that really uses the SMS messaging. But I'm glad that they were able to get USB-C on Apple devices, because it just makes much more sense. It doesn't make sense to have Lightning ports. And also the whole universal issue, again, when it comes to the whole SMS, like if you're messaging an Android phone, that you won't get that weird conversion to where it compresses the really low quality images or videos, where the user experience for both sides is not going to be good. So I'm glad that they were able to get them to adjust that and be able to have more compatibility with between the two. So Alexander the Great says, I also changed my MacBook Pro with a Lenovo 240. Wow, that's insane. That has to charge up pretty quick. The charger that I have for it, I think it's a 100-watt charger by Anker. And it's the Prime charger, really nice charger, very easy to carry around. And compared to the big brick that they gave you, the big brick is just annoying. Actually, I could pull it out right here. This will usually come with your laptop, like something like this. And it's just like, who wants to carry this around? It's heavy. It has a decent amount of weight, especially if you're traveling. This will definitely add weight to your bag, compared to having a more portable charger where you can literally get it like down to here. And I think my charger is actually in my laptop bag, so I don't have it right here on the spot. But I've never actually touched that. I've never used it. So Dylan says, you likely have better consumer protection. Yeah, that is a possibility for certain. Yeah, because I'm just curious to see what is going to change I know this is probably going way off topic, but I'm curious to see if everything will change when it comes to Apple's iPhone 17, and if they will actually announce a whole M5 generation this year. I wonder if they will. If they do, it will be certainly interesting. We probably won't hear about it till, maybe June? I think usually June they do these announcements. We'll probably hear something then. And they won't release the phones, obviously till September, but I can't really see too much being different. I know the biggest thing that they're concerned about when it comes to their phones is that it's going to be more thin. But I gotta say, the biggest complaint when it comes to the whole Apple issue is the whole issue of their whole Apple Intelligence. That's what they sold their iPhone 16 as, that they were trying to sell you that we have this great Apple Intelligence, that it will be able to do anything and be able to look through your phone and be able to give you the information that you're looking for. But I don't know how. Like, anybody who has a Apple iPhone understands this, because if you try to ask this AI something, it has no idea what to do. And it will automatically either throw you into search or into ChatGPT, because it has no idea what it's doing. And even the voice got worse, which is insane. Like, even the original series voice sounded more natural than the voice that is now. And the way it's even saying things is just odd and weird. So I also use my MacBook for making musics with Fruit Loop Studios. Oh, okay. Yeah. I bet. You know, it's funny. I haven't touched Fruit Loops in a long time. The last time I remember touching that was like years ago, and I'm sure it's improved like tenfold since then. But yeah, you got to share some of your tracks. And for everyone that's just joining in, make sure to join the Discord channel and everything as well, and feel free to join the giveaway. I'll put the Discord channel up for you guys. So Joe says, my iPhone 15 recently got it. Gosh, it feels no different between Siri or Apple AI. It somehow doesn't know rock or that's exactly what it means. I don't get it either. Oh, all right, Dylan. It was good to see you here, though. Glad you came in. Let's see. I almost typed your name in. That's funny. So I'm going to type this in. So make sure, if you haven't already, for anybody that hasn't joined, just click that link. It will take you right over to the Discord channel. And if you join it, if you get, you can share any, if you need any help, if you need any tips, feel free to contact anyone in there. So far, we got up to, I think it's up to 63 members, maybe more now. But certainly join it. It's a great channel to join. And our moderator, he's a great guy. That's Alex. That's in here now. He really takes care of the Discord very well. Also, I'm very curious, to say at the least, on what NVIDIA's plans are going to be. Now, Colorful, you know the company Colorful, and they're a company I'm not really too fond of. But apparently that they have a laptop that they're coming out with a RTX 5060, and they're using Intel's processor, which is the 285K. It's supposed to be their beast of a laptop that's going to be like competing against things like Razer and everything too. So I'm curious to see how that's going to be. Also, for NVIDIA users out there, just to let you know, if you are having any problems at all, make sure to check your driver updates. Make sure to... Oh, it doesn't work? Oh, crap. Oh, no, it works. I just checked it. I just checked it, Alex. It seems like it's working. I don't know why, but I just clicked it and it seemed like it popped up. Dylan joined us, at least. So, yeah, it is working. No worries, Alex. Everything's all good. Okay, perfect. Does YouTube show it as a hyperlink, or is it just kind of like just like a text? I'm just curious. Because I know it's posting through Twitch, and it's also posting through YouTube as well. I know for TikTok, it's definitely not going to come up at all. Oh, it's plain text for you. Oh, okay. So that sucks. So, yeah, just like a text. Yeah, it figures. I was hoping that would come up as like a URL. It would make it easier. So, and hopefully you guys got to join the giveaway too. If you didn't, I'll share that. But that one's a much more easier. I'm gonna try just manually typing it in. Maybe it'll end up working. Let me know if this works or not, because I'm just curious. You just go here to join the giveaway. Oh, it looks like it just comes up like as a text, I'm thinking. But you just go there to join the giveaway. It's all the way on the bottom. You're going to see our mascot holding a gift. You just click that, and that will get you into the giveaway. So if you are thinking of, if you want a Samsung 990 Pro, make sure you click it. You have your chance to win one. And also, there is some merch that I am giving away. So make sure to join in. It ends about 2 o'clock on Saturday. 2 o'clock Eastern, at least. And for you guys, I know a lot of my European audience out there will be more like, it'll end like around 7 o'clock on Saturday. So make sure to join it if you're interested in joining it, as there will be more giveaways coming up. Now, to go back on this issue about the whole MSI, well, not really MSI, but the whole RTX NVIDIA issue here, when it came to the melting port, it seems that it wasn't a power supply issue. It was more of the connection between the whole harness. So even though he thought he fully sat it in there with his harness, I wonder if it was more or so the problem of the actual a harness compared to those that use like a third party, such as like Cable DIY or Cable Mod. It seems like anybody that uses a connection in between like that seems to have, they always seem to have issues and causing some sort of meltdowns for some reason. But I think it certainly is like a port issue. And more than likely, I wouldn't be surprised if they come out with like an ATX 3.5 in the future, where it will have like a more improved 12 volt high power port, more than likely two of them, where they'll end up doing more of a power split, because it's just ridiculous to have these type of issues, especially like they've known these known the possibility of these issues since like the RTX 4090. So I'm curious to see if it's going to change when it comes to the whole 50 series Super, or if they're going to stick with the same way, where they're just going to put the same 12 volt high power port. So that certainly makes me curious about that side of things. So if you do have the drivers, again, anybody 50 series, make sure to just go downgrade to the 574, which is the March 2025 driver. Oh, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Cry guy. Let me take you off, Joe. I still got you up there. But yeah, it's just if you do have the 50 series, please make sure to install the March 2025 driver. Do not put the April one in, any of the April ones in, or the hotfixes. They are just terrible. I've experienced personally myself, and this is with the 5090s. I've experienced screen flickering. I've experienced crashing. I've experienced even blue screens. So I've experienced a lot of issues, but a lot of that went away, especially when I put the March driver in. None of those issues exist. So definitely hold on to that 574 driver. For anybody who has a 40 series and under, more than likely will be okay when it comes to a new update. Oh, excuse me, guys. Who is calling? I'll contact them later. I believe undervolting the 5090, I agree. And that's what I'm trying to do mostly, is I'm trying to undervolt it more than anything. I don't want to really go and do overclocking and overvolting, especially in this day and age. I don't think anybody really wants to overvolt anymore. Everyone's trying to save more power and energy at this point. So it's definitely, especially with something like the 5090 where it draws enough power as it is. But so far, I got to mess with a little bit of undervolting. I haven't gone by much, but I definitely will be experimenting a lot more tomorrow. And I have to keep that in mind too. I believe undervolting the 59 and until a solution is made. Yeah, I think so too. I think they're going. Do you think that the 12 volt high power port will stick around? If you think it is, let me know. Put in the comments that you think it is, or put 1 if you think it is, or do you think they will end up changing it up in the future? Put 2 if you think they will, or do you think 1 that it's here to stay? I'm curious what you guys think about it. Put that into the comments and let me know what your thoughts are of it, because it's just insane about the issues that's been going on, especially throughout this year. And we've heard multiple issues, and it's just not. And it's funny, everyone you go to, or everyone that has that same issue about the 12 volt high power port, mostly everyone says the same thing, which is it's got to be user error. Now, sure, some of them could be user error, but has it? But I'm sure some of them are not really user error, that it's actually a defective product, that there is problems with this port. You think they'll make a software for it? That would be really interesting if they did. You know what's really interesting? Another very interesting thing that they have, and I know ASUS does this with their RTX 5090s, is with their 5090s they actually have a gyro in there where it's like not the sandwich, but like they actually have like the gyroscope in there too, so you can actually see the level of your RTX 5090 to see if it's actually sitting up straight or not, because to see if there's any type of GPU sag. And you can go into that software and it will tell you that if it's sagging, it'll let you know, like maybe it's sagging by 10%, like at 10% angle or something. That way you can adjust it. So they do have technology that is coming out more like with that. But then again, you can always use something as simple as a level to really figure it out. Just don't, just be careful, of course, when you're leveling out a GPU. And you definitely don't want to force it too up when it comes to a stand. Now, for the same, and the other person that had that one issue when it came to the RTX 5080, again, another 5080, where they had the thermal paste had that issue where it was dripping, where it wasn't like they had too much thermal paste in there or something. That was because that they sat it vertically, and that was the reason. That's kind of ridiculous, especially that they claimed they only played WoW for 2 hours and they still had this problem. And Gigabyte actually came out and said that it's not, this is because of the early development of the card, and that that not all their RTX 5080s are going to be like this, and that they discovered it early on. Luckily, that's the only known case of it so far. And but there hasn't been any other issues, at least that I've seen. Yeah, it is. It's funny how in depth we got, because even when I do this video with this RTX 5090, you'll see how much more in depth it is to install a graphics card. Before, it was never this difficult to install a GPU. It's literally like it's like the longer part of building a PC. It's one of the longer steps. It's like almost like installing like some sort of structure inside of your PC at this point, because you have brackets. You have, some of them have like little pillars you got to throw on there. There's adjustments to be made to make sure it's perfectly leveled. So it's like instead of like how it was back then, where you just put in a GPU, screwed it in, and that was it. That's how heavy these GPUs are anymore. But I can't believe that. I really thought the 50 series, it was going to slim down a lot more, but it really doesn't seem like it slimmed down that much. If they would have made a new cable, they would have to give everyone who bought the 5090 a new cable for free, as they would have proven that the old cable is unsafe. Yeah, certainly. That would be the case if they did have to end up giving everybody a cable. That's all. You know what that kind of reminds me of back then when Apple had the iPhone 4 when it was released. And when the iPhone 4 was released, they had to give everybody a case, because if you guys remember with iPhone 4, when you were holding it a certain way, they would say that you would not get a cell phone reception. So they said if you got this case on there, that it will actually help the cell phone reception. So it's almost like that type of case. So NVIDIA would just be proving that they are like the next Apple at this point, because they're great at what they do, but it's just showing that they're such a powerful force that they know they'd sell so many GPUs so well that they'll sell no matter what. So they can just kind of do whatever they want or charge whatever they want, and they know they have the public in their hands. That's why I'm really hoping, mostly, why AMD is going to succeed. I am hoping Intel succeeds as well, because then it will bring a lot more competition and more fair pricing, which is what the market really needs now, because the pricing is getting out of control, and nobody can really afford PC gaming if it gets to a point where everything is going to be marked up high in pricing. So NVIDIA is way too greedy for that. They would give Air for free. Yeah, you know what's funny? Maybe, you know what NVIDIA would do? They would maybe it's like what you said, Alex. Instead of giving everyone something like that, because it's the cost of actually doing the cable and sending it out to everyone, which is going to be a decent amount of people, they might just say, they might come out with that software instead because it's easy to distribute, and it will it'll probably have some sort of software in there to where it just lets you know that the GPU is getting too hot, and that's probably it. And if it is, I'll probably give you a warning, or maybe you'll trigger a shutdown. So when it's yeah, I don't see. The thing is, NVIDIA is up there when it comes to the company's money. Now, it's the majority of the money is not from the PC gamers, obviously, or the consumer market when it comes to GPUs. The majority of their money goes to the companies that they have these servers and AIs for. And I remember earlier this year that they were saying, where is my water? Oh, they were saying earlier this year that they might be thinking of entering the whole CPU market. So if NVIDIA comes out with CPUs, that would be really interesting. But the thing is, would you really want that too? Because can you imagine if NVIDIA did come out with decent CPUs, would that hurt AMD, or would that actually cause more competition, you think? You think that would be a good thing or a bad thing if NVIDIA came out with CPUs? Just really think about it, because it's kind of tricky there, because they have great GPUs as it is. And if they dominated, I think of it like this: if they dominated the whole CPU market, how would that really go? Or do you feel that it's better to have more competition against something like AMD? It would be hard for them to compete to something like AMD. That is something I'm curious about. But I gotta say, for the most part, NVIDIA has great control over the market, I gotta say. And there will always be supporters. Originally, I was a big supporter, especially for the 50 series when it was going to be released, especially because of the promises that they had. Even the game companies were promising that this GPU was going to be a significant difference when it comes to PC gaming. But really, I haven't seen a significant difference, I could say. I could say it certainly has power, but at what cost is really the question. Because it's crazy to say, because it's April 30th now, right? It's actually almost exactly 3 months since it came out, because it came out January 30th. And you're still hearing issues, like new issues within like a week. You'll hear issues where you're going to hear about the different inventory issues that they're running into, or that you're running into the different there's so many, like when it comes to their 12 volt high power port, when it comes to their driver issues, when it comes to it's such a long list. I can't imagine of the list that I probably made of it. So I was too, until I found out they got rid of PhysX. That's another thing. That's what I forgot to mention too. PhysX and DirectX 9. And you know what's funny too? I kind of expressed this idea across everybody out there, and guys might agree as well, is that when it comes to NVIDIA and it comes to game companies, they probably both agreed that it's a good idea to let go of DirectX 9 and PhysX, so that way they can really put their focus onto creating new games, such as we have Oblivion's practically remaster. And that's a great game. We all know that originally ran like DirectX 9, right? So this is a great excuse for somebody like Bethesda to come out with a game like Elder Scrolls Oblivion that is remastered, and now that they're saying that they're going to come out with a remaster of Fallout 3 in June. It's kind of ironic because, as I was saying like before, and the theory that I had was, it's possible that maybe the NVIDIA and these game companies had a meeting before and said, just why don't you cut PhysX and you cut DirectX 9? We could recreate these games so that we we can make money off of these old games that they don't really have to think of. They just have to recreate the engine again, and it'll require new hardware. So it's like a win for both of them, because not only will you need new hardware, but you obviously have to buy the game again. So that's what it seems. What's up, champ? Good to see you there. It seems like that's what's really gone into play. And I haven't got to play the new Oblivion yet. I really am wanting to play it, even though I know they remade it. I've heard mixed reviews about it, though. I feel that NVIDIA is a bit off too much. They can shoot a bit off. Yeah, now they're facing repercussions. That's all right. Now, I appreciate you being here. Fallout 3 Remaster, let's go. Yeah, Fallout 3 Remaster is supposed to come out in June. You know what I really want a remaster of is a Fallout New Vegas. I really want a remaster of that. And believe it or not, that's one of the games that I'm still trying to go through. And ironically, I got the whole 5090, so it's perfect to kind of try to play through it again. Because I'm like almost towards the end somewhat, I think, of New Vegas. So I'm going to try to play it and see what happens. I should stream it. Watch it crash or something, though. And I'll let you know. But true, it's a win except for the consumers, exactly. And that's the problem. They know that consumers just want to spend. And there's a couple of games that look like that are pretty good out there. And Expedition, I think Expedition 33 looks really good. That's another game that I definitely want to try out for certain. And let me move the Joda camera over here so you can see what he's up to. He's actually lying next to the PC now. Let me see. I know you can only see behind him because his face is like way up there. But yeah, but at least he's doing great. I'm happy about that. I hope he's really good on his birthday. Recently, I have been having to give him a bath like twice a week because he has like a skin flake issue. But recently, the shampoo has really been helping clean out his hair. But I still play OG games on PS3. Man, some games are really hard to beat, especially because some of the games, it seems like there's not enough effort in it. And I gotta ask you guys, what do you guys think about the whole Grand Theft Auto 6? What do you think about that? About how they're saying that it doesn't require a trailer, that they don't require a second trailer for it? That do you think it will still be on the way for October of 2025? It seems like it, because they've even pushed for Borderlands 4 to be released in September now. Because again, Take-Two, the same company that's together with with the whole GTA 6 crew, they decided to make it earlier. So it seems like maybe GTA 6 is getting released in October. PS3 is a tank. It is. I actually miss my PS3. I don't really play my PS5 that much at all. I've played very few games on it. I think it was like Final Fantasy 16. I've been trying to go through another playthrough of Ghost of Tsushima. I want to play through it again. Xbox 360 is another great OG. I feel like it's going to be like Cyberpunk 77 when it came out. Yeah, that would be interesting. If it did, can you imagine that? Like, it comes out and it could either be really good or disastrous like the Cyberpunk 2077. I remember when I first got that game, I had the 2080 Ti it was. And that at the time for the 2080 Ti was like one of the better cards out there to really game on. And I was only getting like 40 frames per second on Cyberpunk 2077. It was not optimized for anything. But then Cyberpunk 2077, I ended up playing it within, 2 years ago, I think. I ended up beating it. I ended up playing through the whole game and beating it. It actually was a really good game. It's just a shame that they weren't able to capitalize on it originally when it first came out, because it would have been a really decent game. Nah, because they had so much time to make it good. That's true, because how long did it really take them to make it? And plus, they had the whole that whole expansion, Phantom Liberty. I haven't played Phantom Liberty, but I've heard that was really great. And that's another side of the expansion that I really want to play is Phantom Liberty. So, and just a reminder for anybody out there, if you are enjoying the stream, make sure to give it a thumbs up or give some love to the channel. Would really appreciate it. Also, make sure to join the Discord. I know it's just words in there. Just copy and paste it. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, hopefully you can get the link on Twitch. It should give you the link, I'm assuming. And I apologize for this prompt looking so crazy. This is something I gotta figure out here, where it doesn't end up repeating itself like that. And I think I have an idea why. I will have to go in there and mess with it. 12 years to make one game. Agreed. 12 years to make one game. That is quite insane. Can you imagine? You're waiting all that. You waited for this game for the longest to come out. I remember how hype I was. I was really looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077. I ended up getting it when it first came out, and when I saw how bad it was, that was like one of the. I don't really refund on Steam, but that game I had to refund because I could not really enjoy it. But then I ended up purchasing it again. I think after a few years later. After I found out that everything was fixed on it and people kept raving about Cyberpunk 2077. So I had to get it and play through it. And that time it was way more enjoyable than when I originally played it. Because it was a mess. It was like the textures were terrible. The shaders were all over the place. Didn't touch Phantom Liberty yet, even though I recently heard it's great. Yeah, that's what I've heard too. I heard Phantom Liberty is excellent. And that's something that I really would want to touch on because I really did enjoy Cyberpunk's story. Like after playing through it, it was really good. And I'm just curious how the whole Phantom Liberty side, because I heard that's actually like a good extensive gameplay in there. I think that it's a pretty expensive expansion pack too. I think it's like $30, $35. And but it would be well worth it though to play it if it's any good. And supposedly with the whole GTA 6, I got to ask you guys this too. Do you think, I remember when the first trailer came out. Oh, wow. Isn't that insane? Like to really think about it, like how old that game is. You know what it kind of reminds me of? Remember when they announced Elder Scrolls 6? That people wondered about like how long they waited for, say, GTA 6. Now we're all waiting for Elder Scrolls 6, and that's not going to. I don't see that coming out anytime soon. I see that coming out maybe at 2030 or something. Because for some reason it seems like they make a promise on these big games, but the majority of them seem like they don't do as well as we thought they would. One of my favorite games on Xbox 360 is Dirt Showdown. Yeah, that's it. I love Dirt Showdown. I loved the Forza games when they first came out. When I played the first Forza game, I was in awe. I loved that game. Especially the customization and everything you could do in it. It was really a lot of fun. It was actually a generation that lasted for quite a while. And because Xbox 360 came out 2005. And then when they came out with the new generation, it was almost like, 10 years later almost? It was a good amount of space between Xbox 360 then Xbox One. Same thing with PS3 and PS4. I'm still waiting for Half-Life 3, and I have high hopes for that too. I really have high hopes for that. And they keep teasing it like that. They're saying that they will come out with it soon. And I'm really, I've also heard that Valve has been working on a second headset, like the second generation Valve headset. I heard Half-Life Alyx was actually really good. But of course I don't have a headset to try it on. I heard really good things about MetaQuest that I would love to try it out. But I kind of want to wait for the whole Steam headset if they come out with one, a second version. I would completely get that just to try Half-Life Alyx. I love the Half-Life series. And they're a ton of fun. Have you guys played if you guys have a RTX card, Have you guys played the Half-Life 2 RTX? I haven't played it yet, but I do know it's out for sure. That would be a lot of fun to get back into. I'm just curious to see. Split, yeah, you know what's funny? I was just speaking to somebody about that split second, and I heard it's a lot of fun. I heard that game's a lot of fun. I gotta check that game out too. I was just talking to somebody today, matter of fact, about it. Maybe it's going to be like, yeah, it's probably going to be. Because it's quite incredible as it is. Oh, and you know, speaking of headsets, it kind of makes me think of whatever happened to the Apple Vision Pro. You don't really hear much about it anymore. Yeah, yeah, there's that RTX Half-Life 2. They've been like showing it on, let me see, Half-Life 2 RTX. Oh, it got mixed reviews, apparently. I'm surprised. And I'll share it with you guys here. Let me see. Share it right now with you guys. It will be... Let me just go here. There you go. You see it? There we go. Half-Life 2 RTX. So they have it, but it says it got mixed reviews. And I'm just curious about the reviews, so we're getting into the reviews here of it. Please call it Half-Life 2 RTX demo. If it's still just the demo, I thought this was the full game. Oh, that's what I thought. I thought it was the full game. Is it the full game or is it not? That's what I'm really curious about. You can get a Steam key for a split second for $5. You gotta do a live stream. Okay, yeah, I'll definitely take a look at it then. Oh, probably some of the newer GPUs can. I think I bet your 30 series could do it too. I think they only came out with this because they want to show you the power of their ray tracing. This community-made mod includes that you own Half-Life. Click here to learn more about it. Oh, it's free too. I should just install it. Oh, but I can't install it on this PC. This is the stream PC, so I don't have any games on this one. I will definitely stream it though. There's a couple games I'll try to stream with you guys. Show you the power of the whole 50 series because I want to show like how the frame generation is on it and see what you guys think of it. I will be doing that sometime soon. Maybe I'll do it over maybe Friday or something. I'll just do a random stream for you guys and we can maybe it'll be split second we can do or you can name the title just if you're curious about any other games, such as like if you're also curious about like how it looks on Monster Hunter's Wilds. You can see it. Hopefully there's not too much crashing. I'll definitely make sure that I put in that older driver in there. Otherwise, we'll run into more crash issues. Let's see. And I'll put this back. Perfect. Can't wait for it and still decide between the 50 series or the 9000 series AMD. Yeah, if it all really depends on what you're looking for out the card and what kind of performance. If you really care about like path tracing, mostly path tracing, I have to say. Ray tracing is very close. I'd say it's definitely better than the 30 series now when it comes to the whole ray tracing. It's like the 40 series equivalent, but when it comes to path tracing, it's just it's equal to the 30 series. Now if you're talking about like gaming and being comfortable gaming with it driver wise and everything, it's great, no issues with it. When it comes to the whole 50 series, it can be good and it can be bad. Again, they have decent cards out there. It's excellent when it comes to ray tracing, excellent when it comes to patch tracing, of course. And then when it comes to the whole side of like the compatibility, like of you actually enjoying the game, how can you enjoy it if you're constantly crashing? That's the thing. So if there's problems with the 50 series such as that, you'll have a powerful card, but the thing is, would you have the patience of waiting for more drivers until it gets resolved? And I agree with Alex. I'd say the 9000 series is definitely the better way to go. I've definitely enjoyed it a lot more. Hopefully you got to check out that video, Joe, of the RX 9070 XT. You might be impressed with it. I did a review on it and also a build on it. A quick build, not really tutorial based, but more of like a quick build together to see how it looked like. It was the Sapphire Nitro Plus 9070 XT. In Germany, at least the 5070 Ti and the 9070 XT are both about $850. So if you were to compare them both, as I was saying, between the 5070 Ti and the RX 9070 XT, they're very close. They're like neck and neck. And there's times where the 9070 XT can even pace up to the 5080 in certain games. But again, if you're comparing ray tracing, obviously the ray tracing will certainly be better in the 5070 Ti. If you're comparing the when it comes to enjoying the gameplay and actually going in game to play, I would say 9070 XT for sure. So it really depends on your side of it. The 5070 Ti has up to 16 gigabytes of VRAM. Same thing with the, but it's G7. For the Sapphire, not the Sapphire, but for the 9070 XT, they also have 16 gigabytes but it is of G6. So you do have a bit of a faster memory bus on the 5070 Ti, which is the good thing about it. I believe it will also require a bit more power, if I'm not mistaken, compared to the RX 9070 XT. And that's something I've been wanting to try out, is the test out was the 5070 Ti up against something like the 9070 XT. It would be really nice to know. Yeah, so definitely, check it out. Yeah, let me know your thoughts of it. Because I do have like all the benchmark numbers. I put them on a spreadsheet because I tried in different variations, because I know people want to know what it's like with just standard without no overclocks or anything. I've tried it with ray tracing. I've tried it with undervolting, and I've tried it with undervolting, overclocked, and with ray tracing. So you can certainly see the difference, and with frame generation too. So you can take a look at that and you'll get a decent idea of the power of the RX 9070 XT. I really want the 9070 XT, but for now the prices are still a bit high, much over AMD, and yeah, that's something that has to be fixed. I agree that the pricing needs to really drop down a lot more. Pricing should be more fair when it comes to AMD, when it comes to NVIDIA. It's just it's a mess where it needs a big price correction. The good thing is that there's signs of price correction, such as the 5070 and the 5070 Ti. It came from 649 euros in Germany, right? I think it was for the 5070. And now it's 549 euros. So you can see the difference in pricing there. US, it's still been like holding pretty much the same. And more than likely, you're going to see more price corrections, especially after Computex, if there is a more higher supply. I expect more news to come out too at Computex, because that will certainly push for more GPUs to be sold. Especially, I am, again, having high hopes that AMD will announce something very interesting, as a 9080 XTX would be really nice if they did. That would really drive more NVIDIA to push out more cards, at least more supply, because they will try to outsell their cards before AMD could even push their 9080 XTX. It would be, because that would be the smart move of NVIDIA to do, sell those cards before AMD's card gets on the market, because that could certainly disrupt their side. So, real quick, in my opinion, Xbox controllers are more comfortable for peeps with big hands like me, and PS controllers are better for small hands. PS controllers are too small. I would say I do agree with you when it comes to, I'd say up to DualSense, not DualSense, when it comes to DualShock 4. DualShock 4 is still pretty small. Once you hit DualSense controllers, they're actually a little bit more comfortable. But again, you can say they're like kind of more Xbox-like, because when you compare the two of them, like this, here's more like of a DualSense controller, right? Something like this. And then you compare it to an Xbox controller like this, which is this one here. So you compare the two. It's just almost very similar in size now at that point. But personally, to me, I like the Envision controller more. I hope the 9080 XT also pushes the price of the others. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. So more than likely, that would definitely disrupt it in that way, because it's going to have to force the market to kind of correct itself at that point. Best controllers ever has to be the 360 controller. I do agree, 360 controller is one of the top controllers, and now it's going to be a very hard controller to get. One controller I can recommend that's very similar, they even got the license from Microsoft to do it, was Hyperkin. Hyperkin's Xbox 360 controllers is very good. Only issue is if you don't like a wired controller, which is theirs is wired, you have to play wired. You don't have a choice. They don't have a wireless controller. Apparently, they couldn't get the rights from Microsoft for a wireless one, so instead they just did with the Hyperkin Microsoft Xbox 360 controller. And that's one I highly recommend. I've had that controller, except the only difference between the original Xbox 360 controller, again with the wired one, is that there's no bump in the back. That's the only thing that bothered me about the 360 controller, is the battery bump in the back. But other than that, it's one of the most solid gaming controllers that's out there in when it comes to any gaming generation for sure. Definitely a well thought out of. And one of my favorite controllers for sure is a Xbox 360 controller as well. The OG Xbox controller is my most favorite because it's so big and actually suits my... You know what it kind of reminds me of? Remember when Xbox came out, the OG one? And a lot of people would compare it to something like the Xbox... Not Xbox, they would compare it to the Dreamcast controller, because they were like so similar to each other. But Xbox was still a little bit bigger. Just quite a bit, but a lot of people loved it, especially for those who had bigger hands. So Xbox really came out with the interesting design. Dreamcast controllers still, I remember the buttons were much more smaller compared to the original Xbox controller, but they were both excellent gaming consoles at their time. But it's a shame, you don't really see. I don't think Sega will ever attempt to come out with a console ever again, though. I think they're pretty much done on that side of it, at least. But I can say, let's see. It's funny, though. For anybody that is into gaming controllers, one of my favorite ones, I personally got to say, like for this generation, I definitely like the Envision Pro. It's a really good controller. Very quick and very snappy, and I really like the triggers in the back. It's very customizable because you have the bumper triggers here on the side of it, and you also have the back ones right there, and it's very clicky. You could actually adjust the back shoulder buttons too. These ones here, you'd either have them just like this, and you could actually adjust like how much travel you would like on them. So if you prefer smaller travel, you just make them smaller, and you just click it just like that, and it kind of gives you more of a mouse click, which is nice. And I do agree that Nintendo Switch's stock Joy-Con controllers are worse. You know what's funny? Me and my wife, right? My wife and I, we like to play Super Smash Brothers, and we even play with the Switch Pro controllers, right? So when she's using that Switch Pro controller, even though it's it's not a Joy-Con controller, they still practically use the same joystick. And every time she has it, I don't know what it is. She like must really grip it. Like when it comes to the joysticks, her joysticks always end up like breaking. Like they get some sort of drift in it. So we always have to end up replacing it. So that's the only thing I'd say. I 100% agree that the Switch Pro controllers are not great, or the Joy-Con controllers are really not that great either because of the possibility of drifting. I just ordered the FlyDigi Apex 4 controller. No, you know what? I'm going to check that out now, champ. I'll check that out for you, so I'll look that up. I am curious. Oh, it has Hall effects. See, Hall effect sticks are my favorites. Reason why Hall effect sticks are great is because that that prevents drift because it's based on like magnets. Oh, that's a nice controller. See, that's the one thing that bothers me. You pay so much for a controller like this one here, right? This does not have Hall effects in it, but it's easy enough to pop it out to replace the joysticks if you wanted to. But that is a nice controller. I'll show you which one he's talking about here. I'll put it back onto the browser here so you guys can see it. And it looks like, let me move it right there. There you go. That's how it looks like. It looks nice though. I like the design of it. That is a nice controller. Just sold out. Oh. It's a best rated third-party controller. I can see why. You make me want to get it, champ, to really take a look at it. It might be my new favorite controller. Because that's my biggest thing. I don't like drift. And the reason why these don't have drift, they're not based on like on a standard like pedometer. I think that's how you call it, pedometer or something like that. But it's not on a standard pedometer because again, it uses electromagnetic induction, so that practically means it's like brushless. So everything's through a magnet, so there's no possible way for drift. And that is nice though. I do love that design. I'll make sure that I'm gonna just throw this in my cart just in case. Is that the standard price? $139.99, but it looks like it's coming from a third person. I just threw it in there just to keep it, just in case. Standard price is $169. Okay. The Apex sign is the screen, so you can put a GIF on. Oh, really? That's pretty dope. Let me see, where'd that go? Right here. Let me take a look at that. That is nice. Do it. Yeah, I see it now. Do it yourself. GIF. Standard price is $169, and you can completely fix the drift. Yeah. And the thing is, like, the thing about when it comes to stick drift, there's a couple ways you can fix it if you don't have a Hall effect stick. Like, say you have like a DualSense controller or Xbox controller, you can fix it through software, which is like you can fix like the dead zones in the joysticks to make it more responsive in that sense. But it can be fixed, but again, that's more or so a temporary fix until it gets to the point where it won't respond really well. And let's go back here. But yeah, that's a nice looking controller. I really dig it. I'll definitely take a look at it. Piqued my curiosity, champ. For sure. That's a good find. There's you know what's crazy? There's so many. Do you guys think the Razer controller is overrated? The Wolverine, I think it is the Wolverine version. Are they up to version 2 now, or version 3? I think it is actually version 3. What do you think of the Razer Wolverine version 3? I haven't really looked at it, but again, I hear mixed things about that too as well. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it actually. It's got to be on the one of the top sellers. Yeah, Razer's. Yep, It's called Razer. Yes, they do. Razer's Wolverine. I'll try to find it right now and I'll show you guys. Version 3, here it is. I think I do. I think I got at least one of them. But I know I could take it apart and mess with it for sure. Here it is. I'll show you guys right now. This is the Razer's Wolverine controller. And that's what I'm curious about too. Because the thing that turned me off about like these controllers, I think I looked them up before. And look how much they charge, right? I'll show you how much they charge. $199.99, right? You see it? $199.99 for that controller. And then once you go down here, this is what I was curious about here. Like the whole side of this looks nice, right? Very typical. They have a nice macro right there. Kind of a weird spot to put it, but I guess that might be easy. Anti-drift accuracy. That doesn't really tell you anything. That's not letting you know if it's Hall effect or not. So I think that was my red flag when I originally saw this, because that's what I was curious about. Is it Hall effect? This is good though. This part's good right here. Let me go back. This part's good where it's a mechanical a key, practically. So you don't have to worry about these breaking down. Typically, most people don't really have problems with buttons. Anyway, more the problem when it comes to controllers is stick drift. So I think what turned me off is when I started looking at the specs. Where was it when I looked it up? See, this one just came out this year because originally they had the version 2. I'm curious if they have Hall effect sticks on this. It got 5. They only got 1 review on it, so that's not really telling at all. And again, see, they're really vague when it comes to the details about this because they don't really give you the answer. This one's made for Xbox. They do have a DualSense one too. I do know that. Let me look it up right now. But like I said, I can't tell you how the quality is because I haven't touched it. They're just showing the Xbox one here. I do know they have a PlayStation version. I know that for sure. Let's look it up right here and let's see if it... Alright, so maybe Newegg just doesn't have it in stock. But I will look it up for you guys here. Ooh. Razer Wolverine version 3 PS controller. We'll just go to their official site here. I guess they only have the Xbox one. Oh, let's go to their... We'll see if they actually have the... I can send you the... Okay. Yeah, for sure. I'll take a look at it. But hers is like broken. There's a lean to it. You know what I mean? There's like... If you look at the controller, the joystick's like... It's not straight. It's like on the side. What GPU do you daily drive? Typically, I have an RTX 4090 that I use. But as of now, I've been just testing in the test phase of a RTX 5090 and RX 9070 XT. I've been constantly pushing. So far, I've been liking the RX 9070 XT a lot. Here we go, tech specs. Let's take a look. And from what it looks like, okay, so they're anti-drift, Hall effect, analog thumbsticks. So that they might, it seems like they're Hall effect, but why did they throw analog in there? It's kind of weird because you either have analog or Hall effect. I'm assuming, are they really Hall effect? That really has me curious. You have a GTX 1063 Gigabyte. That one, I bet you're feeling the wrath of newer games for sure. You're definitely feeling the difference when you play newer games. That's tough. I get you there. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm just about to go to myself. I'm just taking a look at these controllers here. I'm just curious about it because I gotta definitely take a deeper look at some. I'm really curious about these Hall effect sticks. If they're really truly Hall effect or they're just fake Hall effect sticks, because I don't like how they threw analog thumbstick on there because that doesn't make any sense with the Hall effect stick. It's on its last week's live. Yeah. Oh, okay. I remember you were here, Fasu. I do remember you were here before. I just might not remember everybody's specs. I try to remember everybody and what they have, but sometimes they can be tough. And for everyone, if you haven't joined the Discord, I'm going to send it again. Don't mind how crazy it's going to be. I'm going to fix this. I don't know why it's repeating so crazy like this. I think I got multiple prompts in there by accident. I have to. For it to do this, it's sending like 5 times. No, more than that. Well, yeah, make sure to join the Discord because we have a wonderful Discord group. Make sure to say hi in there. And let's see, right there, Mountain. Okay, so Dylan's joined now. Perfect. If is your wife the Hulk? I sometimes rage at my controller so much I can't break it. Yeah, I know. That's insane, right? It's like I don't know what she must. I guess because Super Smash Brothers, she's really gripping. It's not the top one. It's not the left one. It's the bottom right one that she always ends up like getting jammed up on there. But it was great talking to everybody out there. I hope you join in on the birthday stream that's coming up on this Saturday for Jonah. Hopefully you still see him in the camera there. Let me bring him back there so you guys can see him again. He's just chilling by the door. Yeah, you can see him. I can see him on the camera too. He's just chilling by the door right now. Oh, let me turn him on. There you go. He's just chilling right over there. Yes, happy birthday to PCMR. Yes. Around for 15 years. Incredible years. And I got to thank everybody for being part of the fan band. Make sure if you haven't subscribed or followed, make sure you do. Make sure to join the giveaway. Because, honestly, I want all of the fan band to be deserving to win something. I don't know why Stream Elements pops up like that, but oh, okay. Yeah, so it's been around since you've known it. I remember it like since like even when I was younger. Like when I was I think it's been around like when I was, what was it, 15 or something like that. No, I had to be older than that. That's crazy. I thought it was around longer than that. I'm playing currently I'm playing Monster Hunter's Wilds. And right now I'm trying to enjoy it. But so far it's been a little bit mixed. I'm trying to play it more. I'm certainly going to do more playthroughs on Thursday and Friday. I might even live stream it, just to let you guys know. If I do, I'll definitely let you guys know. The giveaway is going to be the Samsung 990 Pro. It's a NVMe here. It's going to be this one right there. So make sure you join in on it if you haven't. And also, it's going to be some merch. It could be either a hat or it could be a shirt. There will be something given away there. So make sure to join in. But thank you guys so much for joining into the stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up or make sure to give it lots of hearts. I appreciate all of you. Yeah, that's what I mean. Monster Hunters takes up a lot, especially when Unreal Engine 5. Thank you guys again so much for joining. I really appreciate all of you. And make sure to join in on the birthday stream on Saturday. Thank you guys and love you all. Look at him. Well, look at him. I think he wants to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for joining. I really appreciate y'all. Love you guys.